Welcome back to Lake Life Lowdown. Today is a really awesome episode because not only do I have a really special guest, but it is the season 1 finale. It only took me 18 episodes to finally get this guy to come here. And not only did I get him to come here, I got him out of a tree stand. I got him all gussied up, dressed and ready to go so he could do this episode today. Ladies and gentlemen,
You're important to me.
I have co-broker owner of Remax Lake of the Ozarks, which is not just number 1 in the state, not just number 1 in the country, number 1 small market worldwide. Jeff Krantz is here from Krantz and Associates. Yay!
Yeah, right.
All right, so we're just going to get straight into it today because
good.
We've already ran through these a little bit, so you know we have a lot to cover. And I want to start, Mel kind of already talked a little bit about your guys' relationship with Frank Christensen, who, for those who don't know, he is a real estate legend here at the Lake of the Ozarks. So I kind of want to talk to you a little bit more about him. What is a principle from Frank that you still use daily, and is there a story behind why it stuck with you?
So many.
Of course.
There's so many. First of all, when we came to Remax Lake of the Ozarks, Mel had just gotten in the business, and I had came from a small brokerage, and I think maybe 3 or 4 years of very limited experience. So, I mean, to say we were young in the business is like we were really young in the business, and we didn't have that much of an issue driving business, but we had a terrible issue understanding what to do with it. So growth without development, we learned, is a very bad thing. So Frank early on took a hold of that, and he taught us that you have to treat this business like a business. Okay. You need to take time to analyze what's working, what's not working, both for your business and for the people that you represent, and to take that serious. And it took us a long time to ever be open to any coaching. I say us, it's not true. Mel was pretty open. I was not. But it took a long time for him to get through to us, to me, I think, to really understand the importance of that, to slow down, look at what's working, what's not working, how's the market change that, and what can we do to grow. And so He has his doctorate in psychology. Did you know that?
I did not.
He was a dean at a college prior. He crawls right inside of your brain, and then he lives there.
Of course.
And so, but he is really good at analyzing who a person is, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and calling them out.
Okay.
He was pretty tough.
Pretty tough. I would believe it. What did Frank believe about agents and consumers that you think many brokers still miss?
Well, about agents, number one, from early on, it was we share everything. And I mean, I saw that both from an agent standpoint and a consumer. I mean, literally, or not a consumer, from a broker standpoint. We would literally walk in Frank's office when we first started, and we would say, okay, how do we do this? And he'd be like, don't talk to me, go talk to that agent. They're really good at that. They'll tell you. Don't just look at me, go to this agent. Because his culture, his philosophy inside the office was share everything. That is not common in our game.
Right.
I don't think it's common today. I think agents I think it's changed. I think it's gotten better. But I think a lot of brokerages, man, they lock their door when they leave because they're scared somebody else is going to take their stuff, take their idea. We don't have new ideas. All of our ideas are shared, bought, stolen from somebody else.
Yeah.
And the more open we are with helping each other, the more it will help us.
Yeah.
So that was one of the biggest ones, I think, from an agent standpoint. From a consumer standpoint, it was just communicate.
Yeah.
Communicate with buyers and sellers even when you don't want to, because even when the message is not fun and not good, they deserve to know. And so many great agents, what they don't do is they don't tell their people what they're doing in the background.
Right.
So their people out there, their buyers or sellers, are thinking, what is going on? And that agent's working their tail off, but they're not telling the people that they work for. So he was always a real advocate of consistent communication. And I've dropped the ball with that over and over again. And I think lots of agents continue to drop the ball with that. And that's something we should stay on top of.
Yeah. It is one of those things that you have to sort of relearn constantly.
Well, it's hard.
Yeah.
When the market's fun and exciting and everything's rosy, it's easy, but our game is not always like that. Our game gets really challenging to buyers, challenging to sellers, and that's where it's not always fun to say, look, I don't know why your home isn't selling. I know we've lost 3 contracts or whatever,
Yeah.
and to keep communicating.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big sigh. Ben, you felt that sometimes, did you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So if Frank walked into your office today, what's the first thing he's going to look at you?
He's on me all the time. Just because he's not here, he calls like every couple weeks. What are you doing in the building? How you really need to do this and that. No, I mean, he is so passionate about this company, and he was a good communicator. When he sold the first percentage to us, it was the same message, and that is, look, I want this thing to succeed. I have too many people here that I've grown to love, and don't drop the ball.
Yeah.
And so if he walked in today, it would be like, so how's the company doing? How the agent's doing? What are you seeing in the market? Because he's in it. I mean, and he cares. And so, yeah, he's quizzing all the time about what's going on, what changes, how's this going to affect. We had a conversation a couple weeks ago about AI.
Yeah.
So he's very relevant. I think it would be, how's the company doing? What's driving business for agents? What are you doing to help them? That type of thing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Did you expect that?
I could kind of see that from him.
And it's fun, and he's proud, but at the same time, it's even today, it's serious.
Yeah.
What's going on? What are you doing about this? Did you hear about this? He'll pick up tidbits about stuff that's going on nationwide and quiz us. And it's interesting.
So you mentioned Mel, and I mentioned Mel. Everybody mentions Mel. It's always Mel.
It's a cross I have to bear.
Oh, please. Please. Okay, so let's kind of talk about a little bit partner dynamics, because you're not just on the team with Mel, you also are a co-broker owner with Jason, and you've got Casey in the game now. So you've got a lot of partners in the mix. So kind of let's take a second. A lot of real estate is, husband and wife teams or partner teams. Let's kind of talk about Mel's impact on the business that maybe people don't see. Because you and Jason host the symposium. You guys are usually the front and center speakers, but you've got Mel and Natalie running around in the background doing a lot of stuff. So maybe what's something that people don't know about Mel?
When I'm down, she's up. She's a tremendous supporter. She gives me ideas I could never come up with. She thinks differently than I do. And so I appreciate that, because I'm telling you, things that wouldn't even enter my mind, she brings up. And that helps me a lot, because I'm pretty close-minded sometimes. And
I wouldn't say closed-minded,
well,
just tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision, yeah. And, I just look at things one way, and she might be looking at it a total other way. It's not that I'm not accepting to it. I just never would have thought about it. So from a partnership standpoint, that's very beneficial to me. People don't know, they might not know, but like almost every training class that we go to starts out in the morning, and I'm like, okay, what would you cover? What would you say? What do you feel like is important? And she's not shy to tell me. You can imagine that. Yeah. So yeah, that may be something that people don't know about Mel. I lean on her for lots of stuff.
So how do you guys agree productively? So by that I mean, like, you've had a big decision to make. Who takes the lead on what? What strength does she have that you let her run with, and what strength do you have that she lets you run with?
I think it's mutual respect. We didn't have that early on. I felt like whatever was in my mind was the most important thing. And by golly, that's what we should do. And I think that maybe she felt like that too, because we're like, personality-wise, we're super driven, both of us. And boy, that would just boom, boom, boom. And we'd do it right in front of people, right in front of our team. It was amazing anybody ever worked with us. It really was. A coach helped us with that over years. Individual counseling helped us with that, going to counseling together.
Yeah.
But literally learning that, look, your agenda, my agenda is not always everybody else's, and shouldn't take front and center, and I should let her do her thing, and she should. So having mutual respect, and then having our own stuff. our own portions of the business that we own,
Yeah.
and that's her deal, that's her baby, and I don't have a right to come in on her unless she asks me. And same goes for us. So a little bit of freedom within the team and the business helped us be our own.
Yeah.
Partnerships, though, in general, is that where you were going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like with you and Jason, for instance, you guys are pretty durable. I've worked with you guys in Monday meetings for 4 years, and very rarely, almost never did it ever happen where you weren't on the exact same page, word for word, with each other. But I imagine that that has come from lots of conversations together.
He's my brother from another mother.
Right.
I love him.
Right.
We do think a lot alike.
You do, which
And
is
that's a
probably
personality
helpful.
thing,
Yeah.
I think.
But there,
And it
I'm
is
sure,
helpful.
times.
But I'm telling you, I came from a family. My mom and dad growing up would say partnerships are bad. Be careful about partnerships. You don't know. And not that they weren't right
Mhm.
from the standpoint of be careful, be intentional, set them up right. But I do think that, I mean, looking back over our career so far, if it weren't for partners and influence, and I mean, I always tell people I rode on Frank's coattails for a long time, and I just think partners and our relationships and affiliations have opened so many doors for us that we never could
Yeah.
have ever. So I see lots of value in people partnering. It has to be done right. Have to have the right expectations. So to your question, I think that again, mutual respect,
Mhm.
and for me, just learning how to be more mature about my how I handle different situations. And Frank helped with that. The coach helped with that. Taught me about green conversations and red conversations and emotions. And there's a time to be upset, and the only time to be upset is when you're in control of it. You don't let your emotions control you. You control your emotions. And all of that has to do with how successful partnerships survive long term. Because if it's not set up right and people don't have their own independence within that partnership and the trust that somebody else is going to do a good job, it's doomed to fail. If I'm micromanaging and I have my thumb, trying to have my thumb on my partner because I believe I'll do a better job than them,
Yeah.
I look at all of us. I look at all of us as working together, not working for. And even, and I don't, you might not say this after I leave, but our team at the main office, to me, that's a team.
Yeah.
I didn't long to stand over you when you were auditing all the closings and saying, you're doing a good job. I expect that you want to do a good job.
Yeah.
And you demonstrated that always. But I think that's, to me, that's how partnerships survive and thrive.
So what made you want to reach out to Jason in the first place?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Okay.
Frank did.
There you go.
So we were, we bought 25%. George and Abby bought 25%. And then Frank had 50. And we did that for a long time. And that was in 2007. 2010, he kind of pushed me into the broker side of things. And that was terribly uncomfortable because that was following 2008.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We lost 32 agents between August of 2008 and 2010. 32 out of 82.
Oh.
So we were down to 50. But we grew market share. And I learned that we lost the agents that we lost because we didn't invest in them enough. I recruited people. We didn't offer as much training or support. I mean, we did a lot comparatively, I think, at the time, but not as much as we do today.
Okay.
And maybe we wouldn't have lost as many if I knew that. But anyway, long story short, when I started the broker side of things, it was a weird market. Then I got comfortable and we grew a little bit, but not a lot because I'm a terrible recruiter. And then in 2015, Frank was wanting to get out, which at the time, I could not see that happening. I did not want to face the thought of that because he was still behind the scenes, and he wasn't really even behind the scenes. He was the one that everyone looked for. He identified Jason for two reasons. One was, he had that star power.
Yeah.
He had that a great reputation, and he had that hometown hero type thing.
Yeah. He's going to love that you called it star power.
He's a superstar. And that's what we needed, because we were a little bit of an old company and we needed that young, exciting side, I think. And I think he also identified that Jason had this company that was growing but not developing. I think if Jason were sitting here, he would be with me on that, and maybe we could help him. I didn't see that. I was like, he came to me and sat me down in his office. He said, "What do you think about that Jason Whittle?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "I mean, what do you think about him?" Like, I said, "The football guy?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "He seems like a nice guy. Why?" "Because I think I'm going to sell the rest of the company to him." I'm like, whoa. So I was blindsided. He could see, I think, the type of person he was. He had talked to him enough, and he knew me really well. And so I think he saw what
could be.
Yeah. And it was, I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. I think we all are, because otherwise we wouldn't be the company we are now. So if you had to give some advice for mixing marriage and business or going into a partnership with somebody, what advice would that be?
Oh my gosh. Treat it like a business from the business side. And what I mean by that is set it up right. Have the hard discussions. Who's going to do what? How, what are the expectations in the role?
Yeah.
Am I going to let you do what it is that you do, and are you going to let me do? Mel and I wanted to answer each other's phone calls because we, wanted. She would say, "Did you call so and so? Did you tell him this? Did you?" I'm like, and it would make me mad, and I would say the same thing. I'm like, "Did you call them back? You better call them back." Little things. So define your roles, define your expectations, have boundaries. When it's a marriage, have boundaries. Bothers me tremendously. We have to have, even today, we talk about it occasionally, because I want to be on when I'm on, and I want to be off. I want to have my wife back at a certain point.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have a switch. She loves what she does, like, so passionately. So, I mean, at 9:00 at night, the phone rings. She wants to answer it. I don't want to answer it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, have a balance there and talk about that kind of stuff too, because you got two things going on. We went to a seminar one time when our kids were small, and the speaker said, they were talking about, your how do you act, how do you sound when the phone rings and it's a client. "Hi, Christina, it's Jeff Krantz with Remax. How are you today?" How do you act when your spouse calls after hours? "Hello?"
Yeah.
We left that convention and we put a sign on our garage door that said, "Bring energy home." Because I would come home crabby because of all the crap I did that day.
Yeah.
And it was not fair. She doesn't have that switch. She really loves what she does, and she stays pretty happy.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's a balance. So I think you just have to talk about those things, and because if you're both in it, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
But it can be done, and it can be super powerful if you can do it.
Yeah. I mean, there's proof.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about. Let's let some of the agents here get some little nuggets of wisdom.
Somebody else coming in?
No. This is all you, buddy.
Yeah.
So when headlines get loud, like recently we've got more Zillow nonsense. There's a bunch of stuff about AI and in real estate. There's, the 50-year mortgage nonsense that's being talked about now. Like, what do you actually watch week to week as an agent? Where should you put stock in that information?
You put stock in what you can control. That's it. People, even my family, just sometimes gets on me bad because I haven't watched the news in, I don't know, it's 25. I definitely haven't watched the news since 2010 for sure. And I'm not joking. When I say I don't watch the news, I mean I don't watch the news. Yeah. And sometimes my family's like, "How do you need to know what's going on?" No, I know what's going on. People tell me. Facebook will tell you.
Yeah.
Any social media will tell you. You cannot believe those headlines and that noise. Some of it is certainly relevant, and we have to be aware of some of it. Mm-hmm. But very little of it really deserves to impact how we feel and how we act. And if you buy into much of it for too long, it will impact how you feel and how you act. And as an agent, nobody is telling you, okay, it's 8 o'clock, Christina, here's what we need to do for the first hour, and here's what you need to do for the second hour. And I see people who get burdened by all those things, whether and it's different for different people. Sometimes it's wars somewhere else. Sometimes it's a political election.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's something specific to the lake, but they get burdened or they get worried, and it literally takes them off the track. And if it takes you off the track today for a half an hour and tomorrow for a half an hour, at the end of the week you're off the track for 3 hours.
Yeah.
That 3 hours can affect your business big time. Critical situation, or there was a show, I can't remember, I think it was called The Situation Room. It was on years ago.
Yeah.
And Frank kind of made a joke about it. He's like, what's our current situation? Because if you look back, you get old in the business, you look back, this isn't just today. This was always. There was always a current situation that was going to kill the real estate market.
Right.
Red zones with Ameren, they were going to kill real estate values at Lake of the Ozarks. Floodplain issues, going to kill real estate. They're going to kill them. You can't put a dock as real property. It's going to kill real estate values. At the time, whatever that issue was, we had agents, we had customers that were feeling that way. And my point is, it didn't.
Right.
And so you just got to control how much you let in.
So what would you say is your daily non-negotiable habit for an agent?
Have your activities that you enjoy and that you have analyzed and gives you a return on investment, that is good for your time, and then try not to sway from them. And if you get derailed today, go back to it tomorrow. And that, in a nutshell, is business planning, which nobody likes to talk about. But that comes from Frank. And the hard part is, or the bad part is, you can't argue it. It's right. So in the simplest form, decide what you love about this business. And you can't say there's not stuff that you love, because there's something for everybody. There really is. And then lock into it to the point that even if you have a day where it slips a little bit, you go right back to it.
Yeah.
Those are all activities too.
Yeah.
Why are you sighing?
Because you're right.
Yeah, but it happened. It's so simple.
Yeah. You're like, I got away from it. But
yeah,
it is the relearning of habits.
It's consistency over time. I don't know who says that. Jason Whittle. It's terrible.
Yeah. I find myself quoting you guys way too much. I need to get you out of here. What's one thing agents should stop doing? I hate saying that because it sounds pushy or like I'm fear-mongering or something, but what is something that you notice agents doing that kind of erodes trust or is just a time waste?
I don't know. I guess it's different for each agent. It'd be easy for me to throw stuff out, but some people get responses and true results from different things that I would do, and I might get a different result from something that another agent. So it's the shoe doesn't fit everybody, I guess is what I'm going to say. But you just hit on one. Don't let outside influences affect your daily activities. Don't buy into negative thinking. It's easier to be negative than it is to be positive.
Yeah.
And so how often can you go around an office and hear things like condos aren't going to get insurance anymore?
Yeah.
6 months ago, there was an issue. There was limited number of companies quoting insurance. That issue has gone now. Yeah. There's a lot more companies quoting insurance, and surprise, we're back. Nothing stays the same forever, so don't buy into too much of the negative. Stay positive. Force yourself to stay positive. Do not anticipate what a buyer will like. Do not make decisions for your buyers. You don't know. You don't know what they're willing to pay. You don't know what a seller's willing to take. You literally should not talk yourself into that. Yeah. Don't be ornery to other agents.
Ooh, yeah.
Be nice to another agent. You don't know when you're going to need them. They're your customers too.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's little things like that.
Yeah. And you can learn all that and more if you come join RE/MAX Lake of the Ozarks. What's your minimum standards for activity during tough months? You and Mel have not just RE/MAX Lake of the Ozarks, but you have your own team, Krantz and Associates. It's one of the most successful teams here in the business at the lake. So I would assume that you have pretty high standards for your team.
For sure.
So what is something that you would say would be non-negotiable for your agents?
Again, it's not the same for every agent.
Right.
I'm not trying to be flippant about that, but
No.
it's different personalities do different things. But if you pick your poison, stick to it. So, and I'm getting a little bit harder, I think, but it is consistency over time. So whatever you pick, if it's open houses, you're not going to do one of them. We're going to decide you're going to do how many, and then track it, because you can't truly measure anything you don't track.
Right.
So anything that happens in our office, or folks that first of all, they have to believe that the reason that we're talking about it is because they set the goal and they want to do that to better themselves and better their own businesses. And so we want to stick with things that they determine was right for them.
Yeah.
So I just want to keep them on task with that. And then we want to be, in our team, we want to be big on customer service. I believe that we need to be, our customers do not care how much we know until they know how much we care. And so we need to be the ones that are constantly looking for ways to help them. So like we're at the end of the year, we need to be talking about, hey, what do you need during the winter? Is there anything you think you might have forgotten? You want me to go over there and check, make sure your heat's doing good and your hoses are unattached and your dock de-icer's working? We want to reach out to them all the time to make sure that they know that we're thinking about not just the sale. We're thinking about what do we do? What do we do to help?
Yeah.
So I think that is a big non-negotiable. Customer service.
That is one thing that you guys have been talking to us a lot about lately, is being not just their source for real estate, but to be their source for resources.
Mm-hmm.
Helping them pairing them up with lenders that we trust, pairing them up with vendors that we trust.
You want to be their partner. That's right. You want to be that person that is the conduit to all the rest of the stuff, because they don't know.
Yeah. Especially because this is such a second market.
Well, we got transactional.
Yeah.
We all got transactional for a couple of years, and not just our industry. Look at how the customer service aspect failed in other industries. Still not around.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, people were so busy that if you ask them the wrong question, they're done. They're on somebody else.
Yeah.
I just think that is short-sighted.
Yeah. It is. We do have a lot of stuff coming in here to the lake, and it's going to bring a lot more people in here, and that is one thing that's like, we've kind of gotten this reputation for being local, kind of closed off a little bit to outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like that for a long time. It was very like, everybody's welcome, like, come on down, have a good time, enjoy the lake. And then it got very like possessive about it.
Well, you'll hear people say, well, can't get anything done at the lake. Well, that's not true.
Yeah.
There is a lot of great people here in all the industries that we have.
Yeah.
But I think that people don't know it, and I think that's where we can bring value to people we work with by providing it.
All right, so this is the part where I know you love it, and I've mentioned it to you before, because everybody knows Jeff loves to give predictions. It's his favorite thing to do. It's the reason we have the symposium.
I don't think that's right.
Because he loves it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the lake market a little bit for everybody. I know.
Foggy crystal ball. Foggy.
What's the most misunderstood truth about the Lake of the Ozarks market right now?
I think people think it's negative. I think they don't feel like we're doing good.
Yeah.
The transactions this year will be slightly above what last year was.
Yeah.
So we're running on about 2019 pace, I think, of transactions. Our volume is like 2022. Our average price on almost every category has gone up.
Yeah.
We are a strong market. We have inventory issues, which create sometimes challenges in finding the right properties.
Yeah.
And that's why, you as an agent, we've got to do a little more for our clients than just look on MLS. Yeah. And that we do lots of that stuff. We talk about that a lot. But the misconception is that we're struggling more than we are.
Yeah.
Are we at 22 transaction numbers, no, but I think that also will protect the values.
Yeah.
That's why our values are going up. That's why it's a pretty safe place to invest money.
So if you had to bet on one stat right now that kind of tells you where we're heading in 2026, like what number are you looking at that tells you that would help you predict, not I hate saying predict, but would help you kind of guide how 2026 is going to go?
I don't know I don't know what one
Okay.
thing would be. We try to listen to the economists from a national perspective, and then we try to blend that with our local stats. And there's so many things that are going on. I mean, we came out of a election year. That's what we've dealt with.
Yeah.
People freak out in 24 when they were going through that, and then you've got all the changes that took place, and that kind of caused that. At the same time, you had interest rates that jumped tremendously, and all of that lasted. It lasted the whole year.
Yeah.
And talking about predictions, you look at all of that, and then you look at our local stuff. We've got so many things, so many big commercial things on the horizon it's not a question of whether it's going to happen. It might be a question of exactly when it's going to come along, but we know it's coming.
Yeah.
So we've got so many positives from that standpoint that have bolstered our current values and average prices. There's no question that rates are going to go down. Nobody knows exactly when, but they're going down.
Yeah.
So all of that combined, not just one, but all that combined makes me feel pretty optimistic about 26.
So where is the upside today? Like for people who are wanting to come down here and make a purchase, would you say it's right now really strong in lakefront single family, condo, investment, new construction, like niche pockets of the real estate? Like where do you see being the biggest driver for next year?
Okay, so now I'm going to get kind of silly on you.
Mm-hmm.
We break down each category,
Mm-hmm.
and we break down price points.
Yep.
And I think, and what we're talking about there is residential, lakefront, off-water, residential, and condos.
Yeah.
Those three things make up the bulk of our market.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look at any one of those,
Mm-hmm.
and you can find those pockets that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you know this, you're smiling because you know this because you do this for clients already. And that's what we should be doing, because you can literally identify where the most of the activity is, and where the opportunity is, and where the strength of the market is. So I think there are, and I'm not trying to be too broad, but I think there are opportunity spots within each of those categories.
Yeah.
Obviously, I feel like they're not making any more lakefront.
I heard you say one time that the dirt in Osage Beach isn't getting any cheaper.
It's not, and I'm telling you that somebody told me that a long time ago, and it starts hitting home when they start tearing down $700,000-$800,000 houses to build other houses.
Yeah.
It's happening all over. That lakefront thing, condominiums used to compete with lakefront houses.
Yeah.
They don't. You can't. It's changed. The lakefront luxury market has changed completely, which brings along the next category.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in general, that is going to stay very strong. Off water, I mean, knock on wood, this is an awesome place to live.
Yeah.
We are super lucky from a crime standpoint, from a school standpoint. I mean, we have lots of feathers in our cap there.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing how much the off-water residential houses have appreciated, but I don't see that changing either.
Yeah.
So I think you'll see I don't think you'll see a glut of new product though, because it's time-consuming and expensive to build.
Yeah.
So I don't see the spec market going crazy. I think they'll still be there, but I think I think resale opportunity is going to be pretty big.
Okay. We kind of touched on it for a second, but what external forces matter most to our area in the next 12 months? So I'm talking things like rate drops or short-term rental regulations, inventory pipelines, incoming developments. How would you kind of rank them? I would say that I've noticed a lot of short-term rental regulations happening, especially with condo complexes. And so then you've got people looking to get out of those places and move into places where they can rent. So I see a lot of movement in that.
Mm-hmm.
But with new developments coming in, how would you rank them?
I think, I asked AI this year what the predictions for the vacation second home markets in the country were like, and it spit out a whole bunch of things. And one of the biggest things it talked about was if an area has a robust short-term rental, it's going to appreciate more. And I thought that was really interesting that AI generated that.
Yeah.
I see lots and lots of complexes, just like what you're saying, and I think it's a negative. Now, I'm certain that there's people that'll say it's just terrible and you can't live with it, whatever. They probably bought there to rent and then changed their tune when they spend time there because they didn't have to. But anyway, I do think that these areas that still allow it, that's going to be a boost for them.
Yeah.
So I think in our market, that's going to be a factor that other markets don't have to consider. But man, I think overall rates, I think that's what all the economists say. And I think they're telling the truth because there's so much of a demand still, so much of a supply problem nationally.
Yeah.
And it is here too, versus the demand. The demand is sitting out there waiting. The minute we hit a certain point, I think that's really going to explode, and I think we're coming. That's going to be the big drivers next year when those rates change.
Okay. So let's talk about the brokerage for a second. I know we're in it. We're talking about RE/MAX Lake of the Ozarks, folks. So how do you think we hold strong? So there's been, the Zillow, like I mentioned, the Zillow lawsuits and the commission change nonsense and the different models for the different markets. Like, why do you think RE/MAX still makes sense for top producers?
It's if you want to play better golf, start playing with better golfers.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a true thing.
Yeah.
You want to improve your game, play with people who are better than you. That's what we have here. In our particular office, the strength of this office is from the people that are here.
Yeah.
You go to we'll have a training class and you'll learn more from the other people that are talking than you will from somebody that's trying to put it on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. And it happens like weekly. I also think that we do a good job. I credit Jason with a lot of this because I think he does an unbelievable job of staying humble and being, oh my gosh, it's going to kill me. I'm going to forget what he says all the time. Open to learning all the time. What is it? Into mastery, to where you don't do one. Well, I went to that listing class.
Yeah.
Now I'm great at it. You go over and over and over. And I think that mentality is what helps us because, you get, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. That is not something that comes from one time. You might go one time and pick up this, but then your seventh time, all of a sudden, something else jumps out. So just continually learning, continually trying to adapt to what's going on in this crazy business.
Yeah. So I know that you guys do business planning at the main office because I've been a part of it. So I don't know what you've got planned for 2026.
Painful, isn't it?
As far as agent support or things that the brokerage is going to be doing for agents this coming year.
Yeah.
Where are you guys going to be? Can you give us a hint at where you guys are going to be doubling down for agent support in 2026?
When we did that, I can't imagine what you thought. I would be curious about that. But what do you think was the most important part about doing that? Because I think it's cool that you're bringing that up because sometimes I don't know if agents really believe that we actually practice it.
Okay, so from the standpoint where I was sitting in those meetings and now I'm an agent, I do see you guys put a lot of thought into tackling issues that are specific to agents in our market at the time that we're having them. So we just had that how to strengthen your negotiations class with Mel.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that I don't know if you guys thought of that I don't remember planning that one, so maybe you guys
didn't.
Yeah.
Because of common stuff we were hearing. Yeah.
So
that was her idea, by the way.
Moments like that, I'm extremely grateful as an agent. That was something that was put forward for us to, and not only that, but afterwards we came back on the Fran Campbell team and we had we talked about it in our meeting. So we recapped it and we talked about it amongst ourselves in a group.
That's
so
cool.
Then it was another like moment for us to sort of talk to each other and like work some stuff out a little bit. So as far as trainings go, I appreciate that style of training where you guys sort of look at what's going on with us and then we have a big group discussion about it, basically.
I don't think you can always plan for what we have to deal with.
Yeah.
I
do think the number of trainings we had this year was good. So
I think we want to keep doing that, even though I get really frustrated.
Yeah.
Because you have a training and then 10 people show up or 15. But Jason is
great about... But the 10 people
about,
that showed up.
That's exactly right. And when you were in your seat, you were good about that. And Jason always does a good job. He's like, you are doing it for whoever needs it. Yeah. So that's good for me. I just want to make sure that we're helping everybody that we can. Yeah. So I get frustrated. But my gosh, I had something really good because you reminded me of something and now it's gone.
The opportunities that you guys give for agents to come and talk directly to you guys is a huge deal, I think. Like
that's not an opportunity. That is what we should do.
Right. But not a lot of brokerages offer something like Next Gen, where the agents in their first 2 years have an opportunity to sit down with 3 brokers in a room and talk about the challenges that they're coming up with. They should. You're right. But I'm saying, like, that's something that is really important to new agents. So things like that are very helpful. So as far as training goes, I think
we're staying the course.
Moments like Next Gen are very helpful.
I think that, like, when we sit down as a brokerage and do that business planning thing, it's very painful for me to get through the calendar part of it. It's like nails on a chalkboard because we sit in there for hours.
Yeah. We order food, we make a whole thing out of it.
But that function,
as the person who had to constantly erase and rewrite the calendar, I understand.
Well, it can't be easy. That's got to be terrible.
Trying to pin you and Jason.
I don't have 6 kids though. It's his deal. I'm just kidding.
But you have hunting.
I do have bad habits, yes. But that's seriously hard. But you know what? That little calendar thing, people don't know. Even our own agents don't know, I don't think. But that to me is so super important.
Yeah.
And because once you do that, your odds of staying with it are so much better. And, it's like then every month you go, okay, what's going on this month?
Yeah.
And calendaring activities, if you could take
I force myself to do that all the time, and it's helped so much.
And so many agents don't do it. And I think every year we can get a little bit better at it. When we did our first business plan for Frank, we put it in a drawer, never looked at it the rest of the year. We did it just to get him off our back.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, something that you wrote down comes true.
Yeah.
That kind of worked. And then you start looking at it a little bit more, and then you get to the size of organization that we have, and you have to stay more.
Yeah.
You have to stay the course a little better. Then you start looking at it all the time. And if you can take that and apply that to one agent, no matter if you're on a team or independent or new or 10 years or 20 years, and just work off that calendar, it makes a difference.
Yeah, it does.
And that helps you avoid that noise. That helps you stay true to what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
Because it's really not about anybody else. It's about you in this business.
Yeah.
You're in business for yourself. Just shouldn't be by yourself. So.
Yes. I took that with me when I left and became an agent. The calendaring, like, I look at my week overall, and then when I get into the office, I write down 3 things that I need to accomplish before I leave the office that day. So, one, it helps me feel like I've actually achieved something, because, we don't get a weekly paycheck as an agent.
Mm-mm.
So you want to look at what you accomplished for the week and feel proud about getting something done. I can look every day and see my 3 things. And it's hard to feel that.
Yeah. I can mow the grass and see that I mowed the grass.
Right.
That gives me a sense of...
Yes.
But this business, you can work for days and not feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that has helped me as a new agent? Just throwing that out there if anybody's a new agent, or even if you.
Yeah, I'm going to throw something out now
Mm-hmm.
because you push this. Now, this is the time of year when we should challenge ourselves, no matter if you're a new agent or a 20-year agent, because nobody else is going to do it. You've got to look back and see, okay, what really worked, and what did I really enjoy, and what did I spend my time on, and even if I really enjoyed it, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And because no is super important
Mm-hmm.
in this business, and it's not negative, it's eliminating the things that don't bring you something back.
Yeah.
And this is a great time to do that.
Yeah. All right, so I want you to take your broker hat off. I want you to take your, developer hat off, and I want you to just be Agent Jeff.
Oh no.
Agent Jeff
He
Krantz.
quit a long time ago.
Let's say
Agent.
We've got 3 steps for a seller to be market ready in 10 days here at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Today, in this market right now.
Yes, in this market right now. How would you coach a seller to be ready? 3 things to give them.
Okay, and I'm assuming that I've already developed the relationship that I need to be able to say this to them.
Be honest as you can be with them.
Yeah, because I'm not going to come in and say this stuff right out of the gate. I'm going to bond, and I'm going to.
Yeah.
I just have to qualify it by that, because you don't pick a house apart and you don't get hard on pricing until you earn the right to do it.
Right.
Okay. So now I have that with you. I'm going to, first and foremost, what's our competition and how do we stand out from it? You cannot be priced highest in your bracket and expect a sale today. So if your bracket is here and you've got 3 properties, we got 3 other condos in this complex that we're going to compete with, yet you want to price 10% over. Mm-hmm. We can't expect a result. We're going to either cause them to sell and cause ourselves frustration, or we're going to be competitive. So I think pricing is super important right now, and it's also the biggest challenge that we have at Lake of the Ozarks, because we don't have a lot of apples to apples.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get real hard on that. The other thing is it has to be competitive in the way that it looks right now.
Yeah.
If they've got a property that's been on the market it's not been on the market, but it's been rented. Let's say it's been rented for 5 years, and it looks like it's been rented for 5 years. Mm-hmm. You can't expect to compete at the same level. People here, the primary buyer that we have for the majority of our markets is second home.
Yep.
They don't want to. Most of them do not want to come in and paint all the walls and fix everything up. Yep. So this is not my nature. My nature is to lean on pricing only, but there is a component to how that property looks and feels, and I think it's really important as agents today in this market. That is a big part of our conversation as well. And then I guess the third one is not it's not going to be answered that day, but I'm going to try to set them up for a correct relationship, because properties aren't selling in a week. They're not selling in 2 weeks. I see agents that get disappointed in that.
Yep.
That's crazy. You cannot do that. You can't set yourself up as an agent with the expectation that everything's going to sell in an unrealistic period of time.
Yeah.
And that comes from 20 years of our career. The average time on the market was 6 to 9 months. So this is not 2 months doesn't mean there's a black cloud on the property to me. But I hear agents say, I can't believe it hasn't sold. Well, how long's it been on the market? 3 weeks. Seriously, because we got used to that. A big part of maintaining a listing until it's sold is having the relationship to have that time period go by and them not panic.
Yeah.
They can sell it if they want through price.
Yeah.
But if they want a retail price or a high price, and they have a unique property that could potentially bring it, it might take them time.
Yeah.
And you got to talk about that. I
do know Susan Ebling has a conversation with her sellers up front. It's like, if I sell this tomorrow, how are you going to handle that?
How do you feel?
Yeah.
How will you feel?
Yeah. So I think that is also something that
Mm-hmm.
needs to come up in conversation.
And if you put it in that perspective, okay, I have some questions for you. You tell me you're ready to list, but I want to ask you a couple things. So 2 questions. Mm-hmm. How are you going to feel if it doesn't sell in 6 months? And how are you going to feel if we get an offer tomorrow?
Yeah.
And some people come out and answer it immediately. Well, I'll be mad.
Yeah.
If this thing doesn't sell in 6 months, I'm going to be upset. Good. I'm glad you brought that up, because we are seeing properties now that you would think they would sell, and by all the things, it looks like they're going to sell, and they're not.
Yeah.
And so I like to talk about that. How would you feel if it sold tomorrow? Well, I'd feel like I'm overpaying or whatever. And then you can explain the other part.
Yeah.
And you need to be good at that. And that's super important for both the consumer and the agent right now.
So let's talk about for buyers. You came back at me when I ran this question by you earlier, but how to win the right property without overpaying. Give the short checklist. So you as agent Jeff, not broker Jeff, how do you coach your buyer? I
can't do it.
I know.
I have to. The broker Jeff is coming out. Buyer's agent-itis is a bad thing. It's a bad disease.
Yeah.
My buyer cannot overpay.
Yeah.
That's we actually hear that. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to let my buyer overpay. Your buyer? You own them?
Yeah.
How did that? Sometimes a buyer has the right to decide what they will do.
Yeah.
We bought a property in Florida one time, and our agent said to us, that property won't appraise. And I'm like, how do you know? Well, I just don't think it will. I'm like, what if I don't care? Well, I think we can do better. According to who? It was the property that we wanted in the location that we wanted, and I didn't have any problem with it. Yeah. And I had to beg this guy to write an offer. He did a bad job.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was an I'm older. He was an older, successful agent in his market, but he was making decisions for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a broker side.
No.
Look, even today, it's a competitive market in some of those price categories. In some of that, try it. Have a buyer today that wants $500,000 to $600,000 lakefront, and then watch a $500,000 to $600,000 lakefront house pop up. And tell me what happens.
Yeah.
Multiple offers today.
Yeah.
And that's going to continue. And we have to make sure that we set the stage properly. We tell the truth. We get all the information. And then we let them go. So what I say to people when they get in that competitive deal is, I'm like, you need to tell me a number where if you lose, you won't be upset. Because I'm telling you, there's 3 other offers. Yeah. And don't play the threat game if it's not true. Don't be the agent that says, "Oh, we're getting multiple offers," if you're not getting multiple offers.
Yeah.
So I mean, it goes both ways. But I don't even know if I answered that question.
Yeah,
I think I did bad.
Yeah. No.
Sorry. Okay.
You
Sorry.
didn't do bad.
Well, it feels like I get a little overly passionate sometimes.
So let's switch you back to team leader Jeff Krantz.
Okay.
Let's go to, I'm a new agent, and I'm looking at teams to join, or where I want to put my time in at. I know that the Krantz office is a packed house right now, but if I'm a new agent and I see something like the Krantz office, what should I be looking for in a team when I want to join somewhere?
I think that I think that there's pros and cons everywhere.
Yeah.
I think big teams are probably, oftentimes they might be a little more structured, but I don't think that's looked at as a positive by all agents. I think that you may have a small team that is able to dedicate a lot more time to their agents, or is willing to dedicate more time to their agents. I think that you need to assess where you're going to be I'm talking about the agent, that the person needs to interview all the teams, and because brokerage support's a different deal.
Right.
You can identify brokerage support very easily. What's their training? What's their brand? What's their local reputation look like? And you can qualify that by average number of transaction per agents, by there's real metrics to that. So from an agent going into the business, they should be qualifying the brokerage that they look at, in my opinion. And then they should, if they want a team, they should be interviewing all the teams, because they're going to spend so much time, or they should spend so much time in that office with that team, that they should feel comfortable. It's more about the feeling
Right.
than it is the each team's numbers when you get to that level, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that
Yeah.
okay? Because I think that's true. I've seen people not make it on small teams. I've seen people not make it on big teams, and it's more about finding their niche, I think.
All right. Let's we got through it. We got through
Thank
all
God.
of it. So now we want to get to the fun stuff.
You do that? Do you really?
Yeah. We're going to do a little lightning round here.
Oh my gosh.
So I've got 10 questions here for Jeff, and we're just going to buzz right through them.
Oh my gosh.
What's the first job you ever had?
I don't know if I can buzz through this. I was a bagger at a grocery store.
Okay. What's your favorite on-water meal or dock and dine spot?
On-water meal. Oh, it's got to be the Reserve. I got to put a plug out there for Jason.
Okay.
We love it.
What are you eating on the boat? What snack?
Mel is like this charcuterie board gal she always has some kind of protein, some kind of cheese. I think it's about sobering me up.
Okay.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
She wants me to have something serious.
Yeah, something of substance in there. Underrated cove or community newcomers should learn about?
Underrated cove. Well, I've heard other people say this on your podcast, and I think it's true. It's a Snake Cove. That was so cool. We lived up there for many years, and that was our go-to. But now that we don't, there's a couple coves that ours is a little different. We usually have some kids with us, so it was either our kids or now it's maybe Mel's sister or friends' kids, and we go to coves that have a golf hole in them because those kids like to find those golf balls, and it's a great pastime for them, and we can float. So there are several of those that are fun. I think.
All right. So that's a new answer for us.
Is it really?
Look at that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. Most clutch tool in your business that isn't software?
Phone.
That's soft. I guess it's.
Is it software? A phone. Today it's software. Yesterday it wasn't. Jeez Louise. Notepad.
There you go.
People should take notes.
Yeah.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
Watch Whittle.
Yeah.
Watch him. Watch him at any convention we go to and any training class. He's writing notes. And he's writing them for himself. And he reviews them.
That is the thing, is I'll take notes, but they're in that notebook forever, and the odds of me circling back to it, I need to get better at it.
Well, but everybody needs to get better at it. But the fact that you're taking them, you're retaining more than you think you are.
True. Okay. So boat day, sunrise cruise or sunset tie-up? Sunrise or sunset?
Yeah, so this is terrible. It used to be sunset, and now it's changing to sunrise because I'm getting older.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's weird that you're getting...
Maybe. I don't want to.
Okay, I think I know the answer to this one, but want everyone to know the answer to this. One book or podcast you push on your team?
Oh my God! Would you please tell me the answer?
Brian Buffini for the podcast.
I am. Yes.
And then that book by Jordan. Oh gosh. It's most brand new agents always. I have a copy of the book. Oh, he was a.
No, I know exactly who you're talking about. It's a #1 Remax agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy.
That's a great book.
Yeah.
Because he gives real life
listing presentation
information.
Correct. Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, so this one's a fun one.
Okay.
What's your walk-up song if you had to pick one for listing appointments?
Oh, it's Thunderstruck. AC/DC, man, I'm gonna own that stuff. Boom, boom.
Okay, I know the answer to this again, but phrase you use most often when giving advice. Now, I'll have you know that I've done an episode with Jason and Casey, and they both gave, and Mel and Natalie, and they all gave me the Jeffism that is most frequent. So you tell me yours.
What?
I even just said it in the last podcast I recorded. I said it.
Huh?
Yeah. What's your phrase you use most often when giving advice?
I don't know. You tell me.
Rising tide floats all boats.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Most all of these came from Frank.
Yeah.
I didn't come up with any of these.
You basically said it in the beginning of the interview.
You know where that one came from for me? Jane Kelly. She's the one that said that. A rising tide floats all boats.
I gotta get Jane in here. So many people have quoted Jane to me.
She Yeah, we learned so much, and she is such a great teacher. She opens, if you sat down with her and ask her any question, it's like, shoo, anything you want. And she's the one that helped Mel through many glass ceilings. Mel would call her and say, Jane, I've only done this much, and I don't know how to do more, and I want to do more, and what can I do? And I've watched those two for years. But yeah, I mean, there is so many great things that were used on us and given to us that now I try to turn around and help other people with.
This isn't one of my lightning round questions. This is just a question.
Yeah.
When you see a new agent or a seasoned agent struggling, what's the phrase that you found that sort of remotivates them the most?
I don't know if you have an answer already that you're thinking about.
Mm-mm.
That's hard. I mean, I think that this business is a hard business. So I think that when you have someone that's struggling, you have to hear what their struggle is and then empathize, because if you don't, you're lying.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't miss any of us. So figure out what their challenge is, empathize with them, share something that was a similar challenge for yourself, and then get back around to what changes that. And because sometimes I think that struggle feels like there's no change. There's nothing I can do to change it. And I'll give you one. 2008, August of 2008, that's when the light switch went off. That year, Frank and Karen were in Florida, and Mel and I decided that we would go visit them because things were going really bad.
Yeah.
What people didn't know was that we were way over leveraged. We were keeping up with the Joneses, and we had bought a lake house, and we bought the lot next door to it, and we had everything leveraged, and honestly did not know the way out and was not facing it. So we go down there to visit Frank and Karen, and I'm telling him, but I'm not telling him. I'm not telling him everything, but I'm kind of telling him. And he said, I can't remember what brought this up, but he said, you know what to do. And I said, no, I don't. I've never been through anything like this. This is terrible. I mean, this is this is changing everything, because it was pretty deep. And he said, yes, you do. You know what works. And I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, yes, you do. Be good to the people that you have worked with and keep talking to them. Keep doing the right thing over and over. And don't get down to the point where you don't show up for work. You show up for work and you keep doing the things that you know work, and it will work itself out. And just really simple, good, clear, the boost that we needed. And I think that that's how you help people.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be an easy button. It doesn't have to be what people want to hear. I know a lot of people get a little bit upset with me because I'm pretty darn basic. I talk about the same stuff over and over and over, but that's what's helped us the most.
Yeah.
And that's what,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Sometimes we want to find something that's flashy, and there's not a lot of flashy stuff in this business that works.
Yeah.
Not as well as the fundamentals.
Mel, to quote Mel, she in one of the episodes said that we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just selling real estate.
Yep.
What's that boil down to is basically keep it simple, stupid.
It is. Yep.
Okay, so the last question. One word that describes the lake market in 2026.
Awesome.
You believe that?
2026?
Yeah, next year.
This year? This coming year?
Yep.
Yeah, I believe it.
All right.
Yeah. I don't believe it for all the agents, but I believe it for our agents.
There you go. Join Remax so that Jeff can believe in
Well,
you.
hey, look, Remax is not for everybody, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. We don't want to be a catch-all ever. We want this company to be for you, for full-time, bought-in, hard-working, professional agents. That's it. We don't want to be a catch-all. This business is cool because there are places for part-time, there are places for people that want to do it on the side, or that want to, maybe they're scaling down with what they're doing and they want a real estate license to handle what they want to develop, or just and
Yeah.
that's cool. There's lots of spots for that. Not here.
Yep.
So I think that 26 is going to be awesome for our agents, because I think we're going to keep pushing.
Yeah.
And because we're pushing, we will stay ahead.
All right, then. All right. Thank you, Jeff, for coming and talking on the podcast today. I very much appreciate it.
Very welcome.
It is super nice to have somebody who just definitely believes in what we've got going on here. And it couldn't be more evident.
Pretty awesome to see what you're doing with this. It's very cool. You need to tout yourself a little more, because you're very good at what you do. When I had the opportunity to work with you, I love your sense of humor. I love the way you care. I love the way you write. You did such a great job, and it was so cool seeing you chase your dream and kind of jump over the fence to the other side. And it's not without challenges.
Right. Yeah.
But it's worth it.
Yeah.
And I can see it already, and we just want to make sure that we're doing what we can to keep it going.
Yeah. It's going to keep going, because season 2 is going to start in January, and I've got my esteemed co-host Melissa Collins on board, and we're gonna kick it off with season 2, January 2026. It is, to quote Jeff, going to be awesome.
It is.
All right, so stay anchored, friends. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, all that jazz, and we will see you next year.
Thank you for watching season 1 of Lake Life Lowdown. This was such a fun project for me, and season 2 is going to be even better.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications so you know exactly when season 2 drops.
And as always, stay anchored, friends.